Most people spend their entire lives reacting to words, to looks, to the smallest shift in someone's tone. They let the world pull their strings, one emotion at a time, until peace becomes something they can only chase, never hold. But what if there was a way to become untouchable? Not by closing your heart, but by mastering it. What if you could walk through chaos and remain still inside? The Stoics called this the ultimate freedom, the ability to choose your response no matter what happens. This is not about ignoring life. It's about learning the key to never letting anyone or anything disturb your inner calm again. Welcome to the Stoic Island. We live in a world built to provoke you. Every screen flashes a headline designed to make you angry. Every social feed whispers comparisons to make you feel less. Every careless comment from another person becomes a spark that lights the fire of your emotions. And before you even realize it, you're reacting. Not because you choose to, but because you've been trained to. This is the trap of reaction. Most people don't live. They just respond. They are slaves to every insult, every delay, every disappointment. One look from someone, one ignored message, one small inconvenience, and the mind spirals. You hand over your peace for free every time you let the world dictate how you feel. The Stoics saw this trap thousands of years ago. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." But modern life reverses that wisdom. We've built systems that profit from our reactions. Every outrage, every argument, every emotional click, it keeps you hooked, distracted, powerless. And soon, you begin to believe that being bothered is just part of being human. But it isn't. It's a symptom of forgetting who's really in control. The world is full of noise, but that noise only enters you if you open the door. When you react without awareness, you give your power away. To strangers, to algorithms, to fleeting emotions that will vanish tomorrow. You start to live like a puppet, and the strings are pulled by everything outside of you. That's why peace feels so far away. Not because the world is too loud, but because the mind is too willing to listen. The first step out of this trap is realization. To see that no one can make you angry, anxious, or insecure unless you cooperate. Your reaction is your participation, and the moment you stop participating, the spell breaks. Imagine a life where someone insults you, and it lands nowhere. Where things go wrong and your mind stays clear. Where you move through each day like a calm observer instead of a storm. That's not coldness. That's freedom. Because freedom doesn't mean doing whatever you want. It means nothing has the power to disturb you without your consent. Peace is not something you find. It's something you remember. Long before the noise of the world, before opinions, comparisons, and expectations, you were calm. You didn't need validation to exist. You didn't need the approval of others to feel enough. You simply were. That state still lives within you, untouched, unbroken, but buried under years of reaction. The Stoics called this inner calm ataraxia, an unshakable stillness of the soul. Not the kind of peace that depends on good weather, or kind words, or favorable outcomes, but the peace that exists even when storms surround you. It's not given by the world, and so the world cannot take it away. But to return to that peace, you must understand where it comes from. Peace doesn't come from having control over everything. It comes from releasing the need to control anything that isn't yours. The mind believes, if I can just fix this person, this situation, this problem, then I'll be calm. But that belief is the root of suffering. Because the more you chase control, the more the world will remind you that you have none. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That is the origin of peace. Not in mastery over the world, but in mastery over yourself. When you stop demanding that life obey your preferences, you start to breathe differently. You stop fighting the current and you begin to flow with it. Things still happen. People still disappoint. Plans still fail. but your mind no longer attaches its worth to any of it. Peace is not passive. It's an active choice, a decision to return again and again to your center, to respond slowly, to observe before reacting, to remember that your mind is your kingdom and nothing enters without permission. When you understand this, you stop seeking peace like a lost treasure. You begin to realize it was never gone. You were simply looking in the wrong direction. True calm is not the absence of problems. It's the presence of power, the quiet kind, the kind that does not need to prove, to shout, or to win. This is where peace begins. But there's something deeper, a single principle that unlocks it completely, and that is the Stoic Key. The key has always been simple, painfully simple. But because we chase complexity, we overlook it every time. The key is detachment, not indifference, not numbness, but the quiet art of not letting what you cannot control you. Detachment is not about walking away from life. It's about walking through it without chains. When you stop identifying with every emotion, every judgment, every passing thought, you discover something miraculous. The world still moves, but it no longer moves you. Most people believe peace comes from control. The Stoic knows peace comes from surrender. Not surrender to weakness, but to wisdom. The wisdom that says, I will give my energy only to what's within my power. This is the Stoic Key. The moment you learn to separate what you can control from what you can't, your suffering begins to dissolve. You realize that no insult, no delay, no rejection has the power to disturb your mind, unless you grant it that power. Imagine your emotions as waves. You can't stop the ocean from moving, but you can learn to stand still in it. That stillness is detachment. It's the space between what happens and how you respond. And in that space lies your freedom. Epictetus said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of things. Every reaction you've ever had, anger, fear, jealousy, despair, it didn't come from the event itself, but from the story your mind told about it. When you detach, you rewrite that story. You stop being the character who suffers and become the observer who learns. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care correctly. You care about your integrity, not your image. You care about your peace, not your pride. You care about how you live, not how you're perceived. To live detached is to walk with calm even when the ground shakes. It's to love without clinging, to act without demanding, to lose without breaking. Because you finally understand, everything external is borrowed. Your possessions, your relationships, your status. None of it truly belongs to you. They are gifts, temporary and fragile. The only thing you ever own is your mind, your response, your character. So when the world tests you, and it will, pause. Before you react, breathe. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If yes, act with wisdom. If not, release it with grace. That single question is the doorway out of chaos. You don't defeat the world by fighting it. You master it by mastering yourself. The Stoic Key is not about building walls. It's about building understanding. Once you see clearly what is yours and what isn't, the noise fades. The attacks lose their sting. And what remains is a mind so steady that nothing can touch it. That is the essence of freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the freedom to remain unshaken, no matter what happens. Detachment is not the absence of emotion. It's the presence of wisdom, the calm after understanding, the strength that comes from no longer needing to control the uncontrollable. That is the key. And once you hold it, you'll never see the world the same way again. Knowing the key is not enough. You must live it. Every day, in every small test the world gives you. Detachment begins in the moments that seem too small to matter. The traffic jam that tests your patience, the rude comment that scratches your ego, the delay that ruins your plans. Each one is an invitation to practice. Each one whispers the same question: will you react or will you remain? This is where Stoicism becomes alive, not in books or quotes, but in the quiet corners of ordinary life. When someone insults you, you have two choices. You can absorb it, turn it into anger, and lose your peace. Or you can observe it, see it as just sound, air, vibration, and let it pass. Their words belong to them, not to you. And when you refuse to carry what isn't yours, you stay light. When things don't go your way, pause and ask, did I expect the world to serve my preferences, or did I accept that the world simply is? This question humbles the ego, and with humility comes calm. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself, when you wake up in the morning, remember that you will meet selfish, jealous, and unreasonable people today. He wasn't being cynical, he was preparing his mind. He knew that expectation is the seed of disappointment, and awareness is its cure. To apply detachment, you must learn to see reality without adding stories to it. A person cuts you off in traffic, that's all. They don't disrespect you. They don't target you. That's just your mind trying to make it personal. The event is neutral. The meaning is optional, and when emotions rise, don't fight them, witness them. Watch anger as it enters, feel fear as it shakes your chest. But don't become it. You are not the storm. You are the sky that holds it. Over time, something changes. You begin to respond slower. You listen more and react less. You stop chasing validation because you no longer need it to feel complete. You start choosing peace over pride and stillness over proving yourself right. Detachment does not make you cold, it makes you clear. You still love, but you love freely. You still care, but you care without control. You still engage with life, but you don't lose yourself in it. When you practice detachment, your world transforms. Suddenly, people's moods no longer dictate yours. The chaos outside stops echoing inside, and you realize that peace was never something to find. It was something to protect. So the next time life tries to pull you into reaction, remember this. You don't owe anyone your disturbance. You owe yourself your calm. That is how you apply the key. Not once, not perfectly, but constantly. Every choice, every pause, every breath becomes a quiet declaration of freedom. I control my mind. The world controls nothing, and that's when you'll feel it. That rare, sacred silence within. The kind that nothing can touch and no one can take away. There will come a moment, a quiet one, when you realize nothing outside of you truly has power. Not the words of others, not the chaos of life, not even your own thoughts. That moment is freedom. The untouchable mind is not born through isolation or avoidance. It is forged in the fire of awareness, by watching every reaction rise and fall, until you understand that none of them define you. Imagine standing in the center of a storm. Winds howl, waves crash, but you do not fight them. You stand, you breathe, you watch, and you remain. That stillness, that unbroken center, is the essence of the untouchable mind. The world will still test you. People will still misunderstand you. Life will still throw you into situations that sting and stretch and shatter what you thought you could handle. But when you carry detachment, you no longer break, you bend. You move like water, soft but unstoppable. You adapt, but you never lose yourself. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire and still reminded himself daily, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. He knew that peace is not about control. It's about perspective. When you see how brief and fragile everything is, you stop letting the temporary disturb the eternal within you. The untouchable mind isn't emotionless. It's enlightened. It feels everything deeply, but chooses what to hold on to. It knows that pain is a teacher, not an enemy. That loss is not punishment, but purification. That every difficulty strips away what is false, revealing what cannot be harmed. In time, you stop chasing calm, you become it. You stop defending your peace, because nothing threatens it anymore. The insults bounce off, the praise passes through, the noise dissolves into silence. This is not arrogance, it's alignment. Alignment with nature, with wisdom, with the understanding that everything is transient, but your inner clarity, When you reach this point, even suffering becomes sacred. Because you finally see, life is not against you. It's working for you, shaping you, teaching you to master the only thing that ever mattered, your mind. The untouchable mind is not something you earn, it's something you uncover. It was always there, beneath the noise, beneath the ego, beneath the layers of fear and reaction. All you had to do was stop giving everything the permission to disturb it. And when that day comes, when nothing external can shake your internal world, you'll look around and realize something beautiful. The chaos never stopped. You just stopped dancing to its rhythm. You became the calm. You became the island. If this message spoke to you, if you felt something stir within, a quiet reminder of who you really are, then carry it with you. Not as a quote to remember, but as a way to live. The world will always test your calm. But now you hold the key. Use it. In silence, in patience, in every moment where peace feels like a choice. Because it is. Here, on the Stoic Island, we don't chase control. We practice freedom. We don't escape emotion. We understand it. We don't reject the world. We rise above it. If you're walking this path too, join us. Subscribe and let's keep building this island of calm together. One thought, one breath, one moment of awareness at a time. Remember, you are not your reaction. You are the space that chooses. And once you master that space, nothing and no one can touch you again.